Hi everyone, Matt Watson here. So I'm in my Mercedes-AMG G63. Now most people have these things, just cruise around town to pose, but I do like to take this thing off-roading because it is a capable off-roader. Got 3 locking diffs, one at the front, one in the middle and one at the back to give you plenty of traction to get over obstacles. We've also got a low range mode which gives you more pulling power when you're needing to haul over rough terrain. I do love a bit of extreme, hardcore, serious off-road. G's the daddy for that. Dude, you just ruined the effect. I'm supposed to reveal, mate. Anyway, yes, it's not a full-size one. This is a Tamiya replica of the G-wagon. This one is going back to Mercedes, and unfortunately I can't afford this because it's over 150 grand. I've got this instead to replace it. In this video, what I'm going to do is tell you what I've loved about this G63 over the past 6 months and what annoyed me about it.
Buying a new car? Head to Carwow to get offers from the UK's top dealers. carwow.co.uk, the car buying comparison site.
Let's start this video by talking about the things I've loved about the G63. So the first thing is the colour scheme. I absolutely adore this red. It's called Hyacinth Red, actually. An inspired choice. I was going to get a blue one originally, I wasn't sure, but I took a gamble on this. And when you see everyone else who drives these G-wagons, they're either silver, white, or black. Those are the colours that everyone else buys. So this just stands out. You see, with the cream interior, it's kind of like the car is strawberries and cream.
Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream.
Yes, you do have to clean them a bit more because your trousers, especially jeans, leave a bit of a staining, but you get some spray and a cloth and you can get it off. Or obviously if you own a G63, you can pay a man with a cloth to get it off. Having the light coloured headlining really works as well. Blends in nicely with the black steering wheel, the silvery bits of trim, the brown leather on the dash, and of course the exposed wood. I like the exposed wood. The only annoying thing is that there's a little chip there. It's tiny, but it's so big to my OCD eyes. Oh, damn it. Normally when I'm driving this G, I'm just pooling around, just taking it easy, going slowly. Only when I need to overtake someone am I reminded of the firepower available. So it's got a twin turbo 4 litre V8, 585 horsepower, 850 Newton meters of torque. Specialist timing gear here, there it is. What I'm going to do is see how quick it can get from 0 to 60. So I'm going to launch it. There's no launch control, you just hold it on the brake, build up boost, release the brake, and it just blooming rockets. And that's 60 right there, that's enough of that. Let's see what we did. I've got a feeling it's going to be a quick time. 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. This is quicker 0 to 60 than a Ferrari 360. Utter madness. And I love it for that. One of my favourite things about this car is actually the design. I love the way it looks, the way it mimics the old one so very closely, yet just looks more modern. In fact, I think it's better looking. When you have them side by side, this just has even more presence. It's just wider, yet you still have all the old elements like the indicators on top of the wings. It's fabulous. Love it from this angle. From the side, it's really cool as well. It just looks like a Tonka toy. The exposed hinges, they're old fashioned, but they're supposed to be. So is the noise it makes when you shut it. No modern car sounds like that. Also, no modern car's door is as hard to shut as this. In fact, on a car as expensive as this, from other manufacturers, you would have soft closed doors. These are hard closed doors. So solid. Don't won't bother it. Don't worry about it. Don't go commenting like Matt treats cars badly all the time. It's a G-wagon, it can take it. The back's classic G as well, with the spare tyre on the back, the side hinged tailgate, and just the way it's completely flat. Just simple, but cool. Having a tow hitch fitted to the car has been really, really useful. I don't have a caravan or a trailer, but I've been using it for multiple tug-of-war videos with this. In fact, if you want to see one, you can click on the pop-out banner up there, go watch one against a Range Rover Sport SVR. It's good. Another thing that's really impressive about this car are the brakes. absolutely incredible. So this thing weighs 2.5 tonnes and it should take an age to stop, but it doesn't. And I'll prove it once again with my specialist timing gear here. I'm going to do an emergency stop from 70 miles an hour. See how long it takes this thing to stop. It won't be as long as you think. Here we go, 70 miles an hour, full emergency stop. Whoa! Stop from 70 in just 53 metres. That's really impressive, especially when you consider that the highway code says that you need to leave a distance of 96 metres to be able to stop from 70 miles an hour. Though to be fair, the highway code could do with updating. The surround view camera system on this car is really, really helpful. The top-down view lets you know exactly what's around you. Brilliant when you're having to go through those annoying width restrictors. Then there's multiple views you get around the car. This one in particular is very, very handy for your alloy wheels so you don't curb them. Anyway, when you're reversing, these guidelines are really, really accurate. They allow you to get the car dead close to the curb without damaging your rims. I like the way you've got 64 different ambient lighting choices, and you can actually choose between having multicolour, so different colours in different zones. The only problem with it is that I have it set up exactly as I want it, then someone will borrow the car and then change it, because no one else seems to like to have green interior with red exterior. They think it's a little bit too much like Christmassy.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat.
I've taken this car off-roading quite a lot for various videos, and I've really found these special rubberized G63 floor mats handy because they cover up the normal ones that you have there, the lovely AMG ones. So they're all pristine still. The location of the seat controls is just perfect. Up here on the door, very easy to get to, especially when you're driving. I don't know why other manufacturers put them down the seat so you're reaching around trying to find them. It just makes so much sense to have them here. I get into other cars and I'm all kind of lost, really. This is how it should be. I love the side exit exhaust. They look really cool and they sound great as well. Listen to this. Even though this has a soft limiter, it doesn't really matter because it's just so raucous anyway. Yeah. The other thing is the location of the gear selector. Up here on the steering column is just the most sensible place for it. So here you are in the car, I want to drive, so ooh, let's go. Oh no, I'm done now, I want to park. Okay, I'm gonna park. Actually, I need to reverse now, no problem. There we go, I can reverse. Now I want to go forward again, simple, rather than reaching down here for a lever, because that's where they have it in a manual car. Doesn't need to be where the manual gear selector is if it's automatic. Driving this thing every day, it's clear that it's a luxury vehicle. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's also a proper off-roader. So it's got a low range mode for the gearbox, and you've got 3 lockable differentials. There's one for the front, one for the middle, and one for the back. I've actually taken this off-road and compared it to a Jeep Wrangler, a hardcore off-roader, and it was just as capable. In fact, if you want to see that video, click on the pop-out banner up there to go watch it. One of the great things about having a proper off-roader such as this is that you can get away with it looking dirty, I mean caked in mud. In fact, it suits it. It's like you're using it for its intended purpose. It's handy not having to clean it because it does take ages to wash because it's just so huge. Ages for the men that you pay to do it, obviously. It's a common theme with this. People who can afford these, they don't clean their cars themselves. A few of my friends, when they've got into the car, the first thing they've noticed is the IWC clock, and they've always been like, wow, it's got an IWC clock, that's really cool. Tell you the truth, I never use it. It's way down here. I use the digital one on the dash. It's much easier. But it's nice to be able to impress people with that. Sometimes they're more interested in that than the rest of the car. And I'm like, guys, it's got a V8, listen to this. And they're just like, oh, whatever, IWC clock, wow. One of my favourite things about driving this car is just how high you sit. You're definitely higher than in something like a Range Rover and any SUV from Audi or BMW. It really is a great view out, and the flat windscreen as well means that there's hardly any blind spots. It's great, you can see everything, and you can see the very top of the bonnet, and it looks really, really cool. You really can look down on other road users. Yes, I feel suitably superior in my G63. Smugness right there. The seats are very, very adjustable. You can alter how much the side bolsters grip you, the lumbar support, and actually the position of where it is affecting you as well. Look at that. So it's super easy to get comfy. And if you like it, you have dynamic seats, which will hug you as you go around the corner to stop you flopping around. Then there's the seat base extenders. Now on some cars you have like a gap where they extend and that gets all filled with like crumbs and stuff when you're eating things you shouldn't do in your car. This one doesn't though. It's all just integrated in the seat so you don't have that problem at all. It's much better. I think Mercedes makes some of the best digital dials. Really clear and easy to use. You can choose between different designs, so I obviously have it on Sport. You can go for a classic look with 2 dials. I'm bothered with that. Then there's one that's called Progressive. And then you can alter what's in there between like nav and stuff like that. But I like to see the performance stuff. So you have the boost from your turbochargers and your horsepower and your newton meters of torque that the engine is developing at any point in time. I can also configure that screen as well. And do you know what I go for? I go for more performance stuff. And you can have a boost meter there as well. So there's one for each eye. Important that. The Burmester sound system fit to this car is absolutely brilliant. It works very well with this car's huge interior space. It's like it's in some form of concert hall. I'm going to miss that sound system when this car goes back. I'm going to miss it all, really. You can choose between different preset driving modes, or you can make up your own. So that allows you to alter the responsiveness of the engine, how quickly the gearbox changes gear and what kind of gear it holds onto, the stiffness of the suspension, the sound of the exhaust, and the intervention from the stability control. But then if you put one of the differential locks on, you can also choose between different off-road programs such as sand, trail, or rock. The double glazed windows are brilliant. They keep the noise out, they really do. This thing is about as aerodynamic as a house, yet you don't get much wind noise at all when you're driving at speed on the motorway. You can just sit back and chill and just be in your own cocoon of comfort. An electrical steering column does add a premium feel, but the most important thing is this, the fact the steering wheel itself is heated. Love that during the winter. The 9-speed automatic gearbox on this car is really good. So it's very smooth at just changing gears. You don't notice it happening really. It's all very relaxing, but then even when you're in comfort mode and you need to overtake, floor it, responds quickly, and then off you go. And it all gets a bit mental, very mental. Oh, very mental. Let's slow down again and chill. Obviously, if you put it into Sport or Sport Plus mode, you're right in the meat of the power band. Bloody hell. Let's just slow down around this corner. And then if you want to, you can press a button and go into manual mode and then change gears yourself. Seems a bit weird in a G63, but I can do it if I want to. I also like the fact that you get shift up lights so you don't miss a change. And it looks cool. Whoa! This is freaking nuts! And this one even has the de-restricted top speed to 149 miles an hour. The bit on the car is really, really large and square. And look at the size of the opening, it's massive, so you can put huge boxes in it. The thing I really like about the boot is the way the luxury even extends the here. Look, diamond quilted leather on the rear door. It's lovely, this car. The running boards on this G63 are really, really useful. Now on some off-roaders, they're just there for show, but you need these to step up to get into the car. Then it's super easy. Now I've had a few people complain the fact that they dirty their trousers when they get out, but that's because they're not using the running boards like they should. You just step down like that. It's simple. What is wrong with people? However, while I do absolutely adore this car, it's not perfect. There have been a few things that are a bit annoying about it, and the one thing that bothers me the most is of course the fuel economy. So this thing has averaged just 15.9 miles per gallon. A full tank on this thing will cost £120. The thing is, you get through it quite quickly. When the car's dirty, it seems to confuse the parking sensors sometimes, especially those on the side. So you'll start to manoeuvre and you'll hear that sound. And you think, oh, I'm going to hit something, and there's actually nothing there. Maybe I should clean the car more often now. I have noticed that this G63 does get quite a lot of hate from other road users. It's probably something to do with the fact that it's that type of vehicle, and it's made even worse because this one is bright red, so it's kind of just so unashamed of itself. It's like some big uneco-friendly Postman Pat van.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat.
No one will let you out of junctions. If there's a gap in traffic, people try and whiz ahead of you. If there's like a narrow road, they'll try and whiz through the gap before you. Everyone seems to sneer. And if you dare to try and overtake anyone in this, they are so shocked, especially if there's a car in the distance on the other side of the road. Now, it may be completely safe to overtake, and it's as though they just can't understand how fast this car is, then it is able to overtake other vehicles, and they'll be on their lights like, what are you doing? How dare you try to overtake in that thing? And it's a very British thing to do, to flash someone for overtaking. Because really, if you feel unsafe because there's a car on the wrong side of the road overtaking someone else and coming towards you, you shouldn't be flashing your lights, you should be applying your brakes. Rather than going, no, I'd rather die and tell you off, let you know what I think as my very last action on this planet. Yes, I'm British and we're stupid. Whenever you give someone a lift and they get out, they never seem to manage to shut the door properly because they're not used to having to shut such heavy doors. You always end up having to reach across and shut it properly yourself. It gets right on your nerves. I've got a Samsung Galaxy, so I use Android Auto in this car all the time. The only annoying thing is though that you don't get to use the full screen. Can you see it's blanked out, this part here? If I had an Apple phone, you get full widescreen. Why is it that Android users are second-class citizens? As you'd imagine, a big car like this isn't exactly the best through the corners. Now, it's way better than the old G63. I actually did a slalom test between this and the old one. They were miles apart. It's a little bit loose, and the traction control and stability kick in quite soon to save your neck. Something like a Porsche Cayenne Turbo. What monster one of these things around the bends, but it does all right considering how big and heavy and off-roadery it is. It's not bad, but you can't get too carried away, otherwise you're going to end up in trouble. When I first got this G, it was on bigger wheels, which had a nicer design, and they're black as well. I think they were 21s or maybe even 22s. However, because I wanted to film some off-roading, I needed to downsize to these 20s because I couldn't get the off-road tyres in the size of the original wheels. They don't look as good. And what's even more annoying is that because they're smaller, I can't actually fit the wheel cover on the back of the car, so it just looks like this, like a little bit cheap really for such an expensive car. I miss the old wheel cover. While this is an absolutely huge vehicle and you've got loads of headroom, I found a few people complain about there not being enough knee room in the back. To be fair, they were really lanky with overly long legs, but I kind of see their point. You know, legroom for me is fine, but it's not massive considering how massive the car actually is. The heated seats on this car are super hot, which I love. The only problem is though that the car automatically turns down the seat steadily over time. Why can't you just have it on the heat you want it at? I mean, I don't care if it's so hot that it's killing my sperm. That's my choice. One of the big problems I have with this car is the price. So the G63 starts from £143,000, and this one with options is 153 grand, which means sadly I can't afford to buy one, which does disappoint me somewhat. Also, you can only save an average of just over 2 grand off one through CarWow. However, you can save an average of £7,500 off a Range Rover through CarWow. Now, if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can download our free app, and that'll allow you to compare reviews of cars, check out offers. It also includes a clever number plate scanner where you can use your phone's camera to read a car's number plate, and it'll tell you how much that car is worth. While this new G-Wagon is way comfier than the old one, it's still not as comfortable over bumps as something like a Range Rover, an Audi QA, a Bentley Bentayga, a BMW X7. All of those cars get air suspension. This doesn't have it, it just has normal coil springs, but you do get adaptive dampers. But even then, when you put it into comfort mode, because the car uses a traditional ladder frame chassis like you get on traditional off-roaders, it just doesn't deal so well with bumps as the stiffer unibody setups that you get on more modern SUVs. As a result, you can feel your wobbly bits jiggling around when you're going over bumps more than you can in some of this car's alternatives, but I'm fine with that. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. If you're parking in an unfamiliar location and then you put your sat nav on, first thing, get yourself set up, ready to leave, and you need to reverse out your parking space, and you're not sure which direction you need to go when you leave your parking space. The annoying thing is that when you're going to reverse, you lose the navvy like that, then you're trying to get out of it, going, oh, go away, no, it's that, but no, how do I get out of that? Oh, there we go. And then you're facing the wrong way and realise you need to go all the way around the other way. Oh, first world problems. I don't know why this car has such a pilly little sunroof. I'm sure they could have made it bigger than that. Also, this bit's bloody manual. And watch this. When you brake hard, this happens. shuts, just shuts itself. The guttering on the car is pretty useless. What happens is when it's been raining, water can pool up there, then you go to open the back door like this, and then just all kind of pours in like that. Can you see? All inside your car, all over your head. No, bugger. Ignore that. This G has automatic cruise control, so it'll use a radar to keep you a safe distance from the car in front. However, I never use it. The reason I never use it is because it doesn't have the steering assist thing to keep you hooked up to the middle of the lane like most high-end cruise control systems do. The reason for it is because it doesn't have electrical power steering, it has hydraulic, which is actually better for off-roading, but it means that you don't have that functionality of it being able to steer itself. It also means that the lane keeping assist, which keeps you from weaving across the white line, can't use the steering to steer you back. So what it has to do is use the brakes on the inside wheels, and that gives a weird effect of you like being tugged back into line as it brakes and actually steers the car by braking the inner wheels, and it just feels a bit odd and unnerving and less natural and smoother than the most modern systems which use the steering. The windscreen on this G is fairly upright compared to other cars, and that means it doesn't deflect stone chips quite so well. In fact, I've chipped this windscreen already, and then it had a huge crack through it and had to be replaced. It's a bit annoying that there's no control for the massage seats here with the rest of the seat functions. You have to do it through the screen, which then really gets on your nerves if you're running Android Auto at the same time, because then you have to go home, have Android Auto, so you can't follow your map now. Move across to vehicle, click into vehicle, choose seats, then you choose your driver's seat, then you move down to massage, pick the massage you want, wave is my favourite, and then you have to go all the way back into your phone, and then you're back at Android Auto and you realise that you've missed your junction because you've been faffing around with the seats. And then the massage only lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes, so it goes off really quickly. You're doing that whole palaver all over again. However, all these downsides are just minor niggles really, because if I had the money, I would have a G63. I absolutely adore it. It's got so much character and it can do so many different things. It's quick, it's fun, it's luxurious, and it's good off-road. I'd have it in this exact colour combination as well. Oh well, don't quite have enough money for one though. It's unfortunate. Still, I've got my own little G, haven't I? My toy one. I'll just have to make do with that. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel for more videos, and if you click on the deals box you can see how much you can save on a new car at CarWow, or click on the video windows to watch another of my videos.